Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Become the Disruptor. My name is Magda. I'm a trauma-informed qualified therapist. And today we're going to be talking about what the actual change in therapy looks like. And I want to give you an example of, it's not one specific client, because actually there's quite a few clients that come to my private practice and they do share some similar symptoms. So let's talk about those symptoms that what I see in a lot of my clients, and then I'll show you how I work with these. So then those clients have a successful end of therapy, or it's almost like I have some clients who will end therapy and they will like not come back. But I have also clients who will just come back to me like once or twice a year. And it's not because they need therapy, but for various reasons, for their own growth, development. Everyone's got various reasons to come back, but some people just simply don't come back. They just, carry on living their life, minus the symptoms that they experience when they enter therapy. So constant overthinking, because we are so bombarded with information everywhere. Constant overthinking is something that a lot of my clients struggle with, especially those people who are like smart and intelligent. This is, that's big. So constant overthinking, second guessing yourself. And second guessing everything, second guessing your choices. And that, again, that stems from a lot of stuff. So I don't want to go into the details because the details will differ from one client to another. I'm just giving you like a very general symptom. So we have constant overthinking, second guessing everything, especially yourself. So the lack of trust towards self, and needing reassurance to make decisions. So people like it's almost like what I feel is happening and what they actually tell me, they like want to kind of avoid the consequences of their decisions, or they're scared of the consequences of their decisions because, again, for various reasons. So if you have these patterns, because those three patterns, those clusters, they come together. Overthinking, second guessing yourself, and needing reassurance. This is a cluster of symptoms that I notice in quite a few of my clients. So on the surface, these type of symptoms, they look like a thinking problem. They look like something's going on with the mind. We have to fix your thinking. I don't do that with my clients. So yes, I will challenge the ways that my clients sometimes think about stuff. So I present them with let's say, a different way of looking at things. However, guys, thinking here, especially with needing constant reassurance and overthinking and second guessing, this is the nervous system capacity issue. So we're not trying to like fix thoughts. So I am not working with my clients at the thought level, because this is very superficial level. We can start with an exchange, to map the patterns. And that is probably the only thing that we're going to be working at that level. But then we're getting into the nitty gritty. So we look at what is actually happening between the overthinking, between that self-doubt that is perpetuating. What is happening? So we're looking at the nervous system, and we're looking at actually people's schedule. So guys, this is a very practical work. So what I'm telling you, this is like true therapy. What I'm telling you now, this is like all the theoretical stuff that you can learn from other people. That's level 1. Level 2, that's here, because here is practice. This is actually here. This is where you change. This is where the change happens. And it sounds like I can talk about theories, but that doesn't give me any satisfaction, to be fair, because it's no longer viable. We are at this stage in the mental health that we need practical tools, and not even tools, really looking at your life for what it is and where it is. So this is so we always map where is your nervous system. So can your nervous system rest? Can your nervous system settle? Can your nervous system pause? How does your schedule look like? And because to the nervous system, what is going to be really important, how well you are meeting your needs. And what are your needs? A lot of people, guys, this is so sad. A lot of people will come and they don't even know their needs. They don't even think that the basic needs are the needs that they should be meeting. And I'm not talking here about like, food, shelter. No, I'm talking, for example, about emotional attunement, about emotional safety. People don't even think that that's a basic human need, but it is. So when your nervous system is overloaded, so you do a lot of things during the day and you don't meet your needs, then your mind will try to compensate. So you will be overthinking, you will be second guessing yourself, and you will need reassurance all the time. Why? Because you're not meeting your needs, because your nervous system is overloaded. So in therapy then, when we do this with my clients, then we look at their schedule, we look at, the needs and all that. Again, depending on the person, depending on their particular pattern. So it will look different, but I'm just kind of giving you like general ideas. So you can also look into things and at your life, and you can do like this kind of self-therapy on yourself, because you can do it. You can do it, guys, 100%. You don't need a therapist unless you want to, yeah? So you have to then, in your schedule, find space that you can actually rest. And you need to start noticing what happens when you're resting, because a lot of people feel extreme shame and extreme guilt and extreme fear when they're resting. And that is due to a lot of things. And again, I don't want to go into the whole, cultural stuff, because I spoke about it in previous videos. But guilt, shame, fear when you're resting, when you're meeting your basic need. How crazy is that, guys, when you think about it? How crazy and how sad. So the change of behavior basically needs to be for people to drop some of the things from their schedule that they don't need. And that is where the whole battle comes in, when you almost like need to start negotiating with yourself, and you need to become very clear about what are your needs, how you're going to meet those needs, what do you want, how you're going to meet those wants. Because again, guys, when you build something that truly matters to you, you will notice that everything else stop almost like taking up your space. And that's when I know when my clients are healing and they are starting making really good decisions for themselves, it's because, you know what? The toxic people disappear. And it's not that they disappear, no. My clients simply don't have time for chaos. So there's no narcissism, no toxicity, because it's almost like it becomes boring to their nervous system. I had a client who had a narcissistic mom. And it was a very sad story, but he really, an amazing person who really overcome a lot to be in a place where he is now. At some point, he was not even triggered by his mom. It's like his mom just completely fell away from his life, and we're talking about the mother. So this is not a light thing, guys. I really want you to remember that, when someone's born into a narcissistic parent, it's almost like you're born into a narcissistic supply, so to speak. The way, to stick with the narcissistic psychological thing, lingo, you crave that. So your nervous system needs to find the narcissistic or toxic behavior boring. Like, I don't have time for that. And this is the truth. Then when you are really starting healing and building something that you truly want in your life, there's no more dilemma. There's no more dilemma about what should I choose, what should I do. So overthinking drops. Reassurance drops, because you can just reassure, because you just know. This is how you gain that capacity, through the mastery of your brain predictions and of your nervous system. And that second guessing drops as well, which is the natural process. And for example, in the case of this particular client, it took him a few weeks until he started getting the gist of the full abuse that he was going through in his childhood, and And then now I just literally see him once or twice a year. That's it. But he's fine. So it is 100% possible to heal from narcissistic abuse, even if that was from a parent. There's possible to heal from everything if you're willing to put time, energy, and action, and then correct action, of course, and then you're going to see the results, because that's kind of what I saw again and again and again. So I trust that that was helpful. And if you want to book a session with me, you've got the links down below, and like, share, and subscribe as well if you find this content valuable. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.